Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
I'm opening. We have an eye, sort of a nostril, 2 teeth. One of the teeth has a small cavity. Close call, folks, but I think we got here just in time.
Presented by Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro. This is Anatomy of a Movie. In-depth discussions and breakdowns of various movie titles. And now that you've seen the movie, let the dissection begin.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the life and death of David Guetta on Anatomy of a Movie. We are your friends. We have Marisa Serafini.
Hello, everybody.
We have joining us Lauren LoGrasso.
Hello, honored to be here, folks.
We've had the summer's brought about new people to Anatomy of a Movie, so welcome Lauren to the panel.
Thank you. I'm excited. This is an interesting movie to start out with, for sure.
Yes, she is our friend. She is also your friend, and we are your friends. And in fact, that is actually the movie we're doing, not the life and death of David Guetta.
Yeah. And Lauren, you and I are friends, and we saw We Are Your Friends together.
We did. It was really nice. You know, it's all coming full circle, really.
It is.
There you go. And
we made Phil go see it by himself because we don't like him.
I saw it by myself. I may or may not have been judged by Zac Efron girl fans, but, well, no, whatever.
Whatever.
It's okay.
Anyway, so let's start with overall thoughts for this movie. Let's start there because it's not. This movie's not doing too well. But I want to get your thoughts regardless. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with the overall opinion of this movie?
Here's my thought. I like the message of the film. I like the characters of the film. I just don't think they chose the most efficient route in getting to the thesis of what the film was.
Fair enough. That's a good way to view it.
Interesting. I went into this film with fairly, I won't say low expectations, but I didn't have high expectations for it. It seemed, just from the trailers, like a very simple premise. We can understand it. I get that this movie tried to have relatable characters, which I feel a lot of people in here can relate to the storylines that are going on. It didn't make me go wow at the end of the film.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it's poor man's Entourage.
Yeah.
You know, there's 4 friends.
That's a great way to put it, actually.
You got sort of Ari Gold, who's not really Ari Gold, but you have James Reed, kind of like in the Ari Gold mentality, and then you have Emily, who's in both movies. So, and my problem with it was, I agree, the ideas were there, but then there was just a lot of cliched things that, and instead of having, ironically, the message of the movie is that, you know, listen to the world, find your voice, find your originality. This movie, for a lot of ways, was riddled with unoriginality. There were moments, like the Vegas scene in particular was great, but then in some instances, you know, you had the Wolf of Wall Street storyline, with Paige and sort of the home equity.
Mm-hmm. I think the Vegas scene was great. I'm sorry. I'm just baffled by that because I found that whole Vegas sequence completely predictable.
I mean, it was visually beautiful. I think that's what you're going for, right?
Yeah. So,
yeah, it was very pretty.
It was predictable. I agree. But
visually pretty.
The way it was, the way it was executed, I thought was good.
Okay.
So.
Oh, the drugs.
I have a lot to say about that, actually.
I think they glorified drugs, which I wasn't very happy about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you could say they glorified drugs until the very end when Squirrel dies. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's all fun and games until
there's death.
Yeah, and that's and of all people to die, he's the one like, hey, are we better than this?
Right.
And apparently not.
But in a way, you did see his death coming because that scene when he's talking to Cole, talking about the meaning of life and everything, his character was ending. You can tell that his character, as his mentality, he didn't think there was anything else left of the world. So in a way reflected his character. There was nothing left for his character to do. So you kind of knew that his ending of the character was going to happen.
I agree. And I mean, in general, it's a very cliched thing to have one of your lesser friends die.
I couldn't believe he died. I thought he was going to be blue and that it would be the wake up moment for them all. And no, but he died.
Here's the thing. It's death in indie movies is one of the most cliched things ever. It's just an easy way through something to affect people, right? Oh, we need these guys to learn something. How do we get them to learn something? Well, we need a major event. What's that major event? Well, it can't be a nuclear holocaust. Okay, let's have their friends die.
A death. Or what I was hoping for, and I think Lauren knows this, a pregnancy.
Right.
In this film.
She's like, she's pregnant.
Some life-changing event, whether it be a death or a pregnancy or a marriage or
Pregnancy's good. Pregnancy's predictable.
Something that happens that would make someone, it force them to change their lifestyle.
I thought she was going to be pregnant and then get an abortion, and then we'd see how that would affect, because we wouldn't have known whose baby it was. It would have been a whole drama.
I wanted her to be pregnant because I found that fairly predictable. That would help kickstart her life. I mean, she's trying to figure out what she
her purpose is.
And what the meaning of her life is. So, but that did not happen.
I just think the biggest problem for me is that Cole, his dream is obviously to become a DJ and so on and so forth, but the drive, he's just so all over the board, so it's hard to follow him. And when you have a protagonist that isn't as clear cut, and I get it, you can have a protagonist that says one thing and meander, but deep down you know what they ultimately want. And I did think for him to slap his mentor in the face, James Reed, like, I was just like, you are the
literally
most dumbest
metaphorically person. I mean, I just can't imagine if I got the chance to work with one of my heroes or someone who's very successful at doing something I desperately want to do. The last thing I would ever do is hit on their significant other. It's just insane. That's like a basic courtesy that we don't do for each other.
And that's just number one rule of bro code.
Yeah.
How much of a bro are you?
Right.
And
a terrible one.
Apparently.
And he was beyond a mentor. I mean, they really became friends, and as much as he felt about him, oh, you sold out type of thing. I just...
At least he was selling.
Well, my whole thing was, okay, number one, regardless of whether he sold out, now he, his next phase in life is to bring up young talent, and that's what he's doing with you. So appreciate that he's making your music way better, because it was, no offense, it wasn't good. And if that's how you feel about him, then there's a way to ask that and say, hey, in terms of your music, do you why aren't you kind of doing this? I appreciate the help.
But challenge yourself as well.
Yeah. I haven't seen you create something new in a while, and I'm just wondering why.
Right. And we saw Cole already had that premeditated thought of James before he even met him officially in the club. Like, he said that line, I think he used to be good. So, and then we see 10 minutes later, he's actually following him. It's like, I get you trying to move your career, but if you're already having these premeditated judgment statements about him, why?
Question. Wasn't Cole, supposed to DJ that night?
I thought so too, yeah.
Well, he did outside, I think.
But for like one song, maybe not even that, unless we just didn't
Drunken
see
Love.
that.
Can you play Drunken Love?
And he didn't, so I guess he didn't play anything.
I mean, I'm a female, but I don't request Drunken Love at the
Certainly
club.
not. I don't want to hear that song.
No.
I just think I think they just use it as a way of everyone knows what Drunken Love is. It's
Right.
Beyonce, and it's
mainstream.
Yeah.
It's sellout, in
Also,
my opinion.
That was, I mean, I get with indie films you want to be relevant, but references like Drunken Love and all these other things, I've made this movie timely, not timeless. And that might be another problem going against this film. It's obviously geared toward a specific audience at a specific time and period. And this movie won't hold up to be timeless and memorable when it's very timely.
I don't. I mean, I kind of agree with you, but that is not the reason why it's not going to be timeless. I'm sorry. It's just that there's so many other factors that go into why it doesn't work as an overall movie.
Oh, yeah. It's just one of them.
They needed to tighten that up, you know? It could have been so good. They just needed to tighten it up.
I mean,
it felt like a lot of vignettes at times.
Which is fine. That could work too. Again,
but they need to flow into one another.
Yeah, I mean, you had good symbolism, you had good cinematography, you had sometimes good sequences, but it just never really hit the point that it needed to, and you didn't get a sense. There were just kind of odd questions left of like, okay, Cole's parents.
Where are they? His mom taught him piano. Where's your mom? Is she dead? Is she gone? The guy goes, okay, so your mom taught piano. Does she still? And he goes, I don't know. So is she just like a hippie child roaming the world somewhere? Where's your mama, Cole?
And yeah.
Well, I think that's the point, because we're trying to, it's not about the parents, it's about these guys. I mean, granted, we see the parents of one of the friends.
Right. But we never really saw their face. And I wondered if that was conscious.
It tells the audience that really these guys are trying to make it on their own. Despite, they might have some parental help on the side. They're just crashing at their parents' house, or they're in that transitional point where they're trying to be on their own and be successful.
But here's the difference is, as an actor, you have to have knowledge and depth of kind of your backstory, right? And same thing when you write a screenplay. You have to, your whole mission is to basically take a lifetime and chisel away and kind of just present the most interesting part of it, right? Which is this story. But I still need that sense of all those elements of this is what led him to it. And so when you make a statement like that, oh, my mom taught me, it raises a question. And I think rather than it being clever of like, okay, we're going to focus on this, and you get that depth, you just feel that depth. You don't. It's just kind of overlooked because it's an unnecessary. We don't want to answer that question. The character becomes less fleshed out by that design. It
felt less like, oh, this is something that we're just putting in and we don't need to go further with it, and more like a lazy choice. Like it didn't feel, if you weren't going to say anything more about it, just don't say it at all. That's what I want to say there.
I mean, what I think perhaps it was hinting at was the fact that, I mean, he could have had mentors throughout his whole life, and perhaps they all could have, but they are all just arrogant to not listen to them. Right? And so now, again, that's my frustration with him and James. But like, here you have the perfect guy who genuinely loves you, and you're slapping him in the face in both the way you look at him in terms of his music, and obviously what you're doing with the person that he loves. And again, if you were so concerned about the way he treats her, say something.
Talk to him about it.
Yeah.
Don't put your penis in her.
Or your tongue.
or really anything. Just don't insert.
Yes, just take away.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that was my frustration more so than the drunken love timeliness.
Agreed.
But I have another frustration though, as a performer. So the reason I brought up the drunken love thing in the first place is like, as a person who performs and gigs around town, I would never walk away from my gig. Like, I work hard to get my gigs, and I love my time performing. And I thought right in that moment, well, he doesn't care about this that much. Why is he walking away to go get a beer? You should be at that DJ stand DJing, tell your friend to go grab you a beer, and stay where you're supposed to be. This is an opportunity.
Well, first off, it's slightly different, I guess, that if you're a DJ, because you can have your... I'm not a trained DJ, but you can have like your playlist and just be like, okay, here you go.
And play.
Right,
and
but
walk away for 2 seconds to grab your beer.
The new DJ culture, though, is that they are the new rock stars.
Oh, they are.
They perform, you know? He wasn't performing. He was kind of just letting it slide. And I get that was at the beginning of his trajectory as an artist and what we saw. But I still thought that was unrealistic.
Fair enough. I mean, let me ask you guys this: this was a passion project for Zac Efron.
Oh, for sure.
But I couldn't find anything beyond that. Like, what did that mean? Why? Because here's the thing: it's not like he knew how to DJ, or he had to learn how to do it. And I think for the most part,
he had a crash course.
That's it. He all he had was a crash course. It's not like he prepared for this for 7 years. Right. Like the guy from Straight Outta Compton. Who portrays Dr. Dre, he legitimately people question, oh, can you really do that? And he's pretty damn good at it, right? Is he perfect? Not by all means. He's not Dr. Dre, but he's very, very close. And so when you get the stamp of approval from Dr. Dre, you're good. Whereas the fact of using just that term, crash course, how good of a DJ are you? Yeah. And why is this your passion project?
Well,
right.
Zac Efron did say in multiple interviews that for the crash course, quote unquote, he put in about probably around 100 hours just to practice. And there's that whole rule: you're not good at something until you put like 10,000 hours into it. You only put like 100.
100 hours. That's like 2.5 weeks if you're counting like 40-hour work.
Crash course. Yeah. But Zac also mentioned that when reading the script, he liked the individual character arcs throughout the movie. And I'm still questioning, were there really that many character arcs?
Mm-mm.
They just finally were doing what they wanted to do, but were too fearful to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. A movie like this, it's supposed to, by the end, you don't have to necessarily, like, his friend who wanted to be an actor, right? Which, is it Oli? No. Joey?
Yes.
Joey?
I'm not sure, honestly, because
the guy with the mustache. That's all.
The actor friend.
Yeah.
Yes. The way that they just set this film up, the only people you're rooting for are Cole and Sophie and James. I didn't even remember the friends' names.
I liked Squirrel.
And this film is called We Are Your Friends, but the friends were not that relevant. I couldn't even remember their names.
The friends were not that likable besides Squirrel.
Exactly. I had a problem with all the friends.
Yeah, and so the point being that the actor friend, this is a movie that you don't need to see him get the pilot gig that he's been searching for, but you need to have the hope that, okay, he's going to be okay no matter what. And I get that they did that, but not very effectively. Like, yes, he's in the audition room and you're like, oh, he's doing what he loves and what he set out to do, but I still don't get
you mean at the end?
I still don't get the idea that all of these guys will be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're never going to be all right as an artist. There's always a risk. So I think that part is realistic.
But in a movie form, you're like, okay, I believe that somehow they'll find a level of success.
At least he's doing what he wants to do and not selling out. I thought the one part that was very realistic and hit home for me was when he was doing that speech at the end, and it was after Squirrel's funeral, and they're all talking by the pool. And he said, I just have to have something that I know I can succeed at. And I've definitely had moments like that out here where I'm struggling and struggling and struggling. Like when I'm like, I know what I want, but I feel so close and yet so far away from it. And if I could just, over there's something that I could do and I know I could be successful at it. And if I can just do that, maybe I can finally feel good. But you're searching for love in the wrong places.
But that's what I'm saying. What's to stop him just because he's at an audition, he's on this high? I don't get the sense that he's not going to
continue.
Be successful.
He's not going to shy away from that. He's not going to quit and go back to work for Wolf of Wall Street, Paige Morrell.
Yeah.
You're saying you don't feel strongly that he won't do that?
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't know if he has the full conviction to stay the course.
Yeah, we didn't see the change in him, so who knows, but we're hopeful.
And that was my thing, going off of yours, that was my thing with all the friends. We see them quickly at the end trying to follow their passions and their dreams. But again, I didn't root for them throughout the whole film, and I'm not left with the idea that they're actually going to be successful in life.
Yeah, and again, I don't mean all of a sudden like the one kid's going to be the biggest promoter ever, or the one guy's all of a sudden going to be the next Tom Cruise, and then you have
hopefully not,
and then you have Zac Efron being Calvin Harris. No, but like just an actual attainable amount of success within their chosen desire of profession.
I think Zac Efron will be successsul now. He'll at least have somewhat of a career.
Not if he's not making a mistake.
Oh, the character. Zac Efron, I'm not sure.
But that's the point of the movie. I mean, we only really follow Cole, not the friends.
But even with Sophie's character, like, I get that they're now dating. But
she was working at Umami Burger in Studio City. That's where they filmed. I could tell.
But with her, I don't get a sense of is she gonna be okay?
We don't know.
You know, because she's a well-educated person, just, you know, through circumstance.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but every time we see someone do something at the end, we understand as the audience, yes, they're trying to follow their dreams, but so is everyone else in LA. Mm-hmm. Everyone else is doing it already.
But
they have their side jobs.
Isn't that okay?
It's okay.
You're just saying it didn't make for a compelling film.
No. It's okay. It's just I need that, and it could have been compelling. It's I need that conviction that I know they're not gonna. Because who knows? I mean, turn the cameras on like a year later, they might, like I said, they might all again be working for Paige Morrell, and that's the problem. That's the missing element, is the notion that no matter what happens, I can trust these guys that they will not quit. They understand that it is a struggle, because, you know, while they've been hustling to get a house, to come up with this money, number one, they've taken shortcuts. Number two, they don't really understand the hustle. I mean, our main Cole, right? He's our protagonist. He doesn't understand what it is to hustle, right? He thinks his whole notion is he's got it all figured out. You just need one track, blah, blah. And he's taking a shortcut with the way he makes music. And that's what James pushes him to do, is to discover, okay, it's not about just you lay down some tracks and that's it. Like, all this is garbage. The only real thing is that. And so start with that and build upon that. And yes, now he's got one good track. But to me, an artist, they continue, right? Whether a sports team or any actual artist or whatever, the greatness is not in the individual product. It's in the ability to create more and to continue more. And that's exactly what his whole frustration with James Reed is okay, you've done whatever amount of tracks and you've been a hit, but what have you done lately? And that is how I surmise it.
It's also, you know, the idea you want your one track, but also they touched upon the notion you have to have that one big break as well. You know, the best timing, you know, you're in the right time, right place. And we see at the end his performance at Summerfest.
Woo.
But even that didn't really have a conclusion, because we don't really see as an audience what happens afterwards. Is he successful? Did that really launch his career? He had an opportunity to shine, yes.
I think he, of all people, I believe him the most.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about him.
Although, did he look like he was having fun? I mean, it was deeply emotional toward the end of his set. Or his song.
I think he was coming to peace with Squirrel.
Okay. I just, like, every time I saw him DJing, he just looked, like, tortured in some way.
I think, and I don't want to knack Zac Efron, but I think it was a character choice that he's taking DJ seriously. Mm-hmm. We get there's a passion, but he also brings up there's a science to it, which I actually did find fairly interesting. The difference between the tempos, what's EDM, what's house, whatever. It's like, okay, I can give them that for like throwing DJ knowledge at the audience who might not know, like such as myself.
I thought it was good. I thought it was good because it explored the idea that he's literally going just scientifically about this. There's nothing organic about it.
Right,
like,
and music can be very scientific.
And that was also it. I felt like he got too scientific and too serious, where watching it didn't seem like he enjoyed it. He was just too serious about it. Mm-hmm. It was more of a job than a passion.
His eyes were always watery. It's like, dude, it's going to be okay. We're not going to cry over this.
And the way he physically had his arms stretched out, it's like, I get you're serious. You have very great toned arms, but it's like he was too tense. You should have fun. You're DJing. You're moving. You're not stiff.
Have you guys seen DJ performances, just out of curiosity?
I have.
I watched David Guetta.
Okay.
And he is so high energy, jumping up and down, getting everyone hyped up. I guess that's the kind of DJ performance that I would pay to go see. I would not pay to go see Zac Efron, even though I did find what he was doing to sound very lovely. I wouldn't pay to see someone who's just standing up there going like this with his long arms. I would want to see someone who is jumping and hyping up the crowd, because why else are you there? Otherwise, just press play and walk off the stage.
James, I'm going to task you, James in the booth. Look up. Why don't we do Tiesto? Just look up Tiesto DJing and see if you can get some actual close-up shots. If not, then just look up Tiesto's Traffic music video. All right, do that, and then when you're ready, let me know, and we'll bring it up for the audience members and so on and so forth, and we'll kind of dissect what a performance can be. But towards the end, I did like it in the sense that this was his coming to peace with the actual death. Right. This was the culmination of all of his emotions, his highs, his lows, and so on, all jumbled into this. And he ultimately is realizing that he's made mistakes, but it's gotten to him to this place, and so he can continue on.
Right. I didn't have a problem with that part. Honestly, out of all the performances, that one was the most moving to me and the most interesting to watch. Obviously, I think it was supposed to be
Cole's piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the other times when he was DJing, it was like, do you care? You're just up there.
But also in fairness, the other times we saw him before his big break,
It was a smaller situation.
They were more paid jobs. Hey, do this if you want so much money.
Right.
They were things that he had to do.
Right.
So let's talk about the pool party scene. Number one, because Emily wasn't supposed to actually dance in that scene.
Yeah.
It was a spur of the moment. Well, not kind of. It was a last minute addition, and obviously, what an addition if you're especially of the male variety. Groans over there. All right. But
No, I get it. That was one of the first things I said to you when we were discussing the film and Emily. I was like, well, she's got those lips. And I'm like, and her boobs are so perky. How could you miss them in the dance scene when she was going like this? Sorry for the people who are audio-based. I'm doing an impression.
just imagine Emily's dancing.
But then the boobs are right out, and she's wearing this romper that just cuts about to the sternum area.
Here's the thing. Well,
That's a low V-cut.
I just found, obviously...
It was eye candy.
Well, it was
all
like,
it was.
but even the mechanics of the actual scene, right? So no one was dancing. He was playing the music, and yes, perhaps James's friends are much more likely to dance, and yes, there's a science way to do it. But I would have liked to see the struggle. Like, you can't just be that good and just... I've never seen it where you just turn on music and just do it in the right way and everyone starts dancing. Where all of a sudden you go from 0 to all of them. I've seen it very few times, but I just don't think it was as earned. I think he could have literally been like, hey, Sophie, in order to get everyone dancing, I just need one person to start dancing. I'll play the right music, and then people will start to get in on it. Because he said there was a sign, you just got to get that one person, lock eyes, and do it. And I had it kind of been a negotiation with her, because she really was the one to do it in the end. But I would have liked to see that process a little bit, because I don't know if she would have just like done it. Mm-hmm. And then everyone else kind of could have watched her a little bit more slower, and then been like, okay, I'll dance, type of thing, rather than like, oh, you know what?
Yeah, it was like I
have no control of my body. Let me just go dance. James, we got anything? Yes, no? I'll take that as a no.
While he's queuing that up, there's also, just remember the environment that they're in. They're in a pool in bikinis full of girls. This is a movie that I'm sure a lot of guys were probably going to
bring it up full screen for the audience.
It's eye candy.
Eye candy.
All right, so we're watching Tiesto, and James will bring it up full screen in one moment for you guys. But so we're getting a little bit of the stage. We're getting a little. I mean, you go there for the show,
right? That's fun.
And to your guys' point, like the DJ is supposed to. I think he's initially supposed to be the first dancer, right? He's supposed to transform his dance to the one person, and then it takes over from there.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. Every time Cole was DJing, he was just standing there. He talked on the mic maybe once. He wasn't jumping up and down, pumping his arms and fists. It's like, as a DJ, you're supposed to be the most energetic person in the room, and he wasn't that. I don't know if that was a character acting choice that Zac Efron did on his part, but it felt like every time Cole was there, it was for work, not for passion.
Yeah, and I will say, as good as the song and the performance was of the final song at Summerfest, or his song, when you're an opener, you got to get the crowd pumped. And, when you start that mic, that's your chance to be like, welcome, Summer, who's excited? You know what? This song means a lot to me. And we're in.
He was like...
And he wasn't, I'm Cole Porter. No, Cole Carter. Cole Porter's an amazing musician.
Let's do
From
some
the
40
40s.
seconds. Wait, that's not even him.
No.
Whoops. I just
That's a
really...
completely different type of music. Cole Carter, but like, hello everyone, I'm Cole Carter. Are you supposed to be energetic after that?
No one was. Everyone was kind of silent, waiting for something to happen. Maybe that's his shtick as a DJ.
Serious DJ.
He makes the people come to him instead of coming to the people.
But there's a performance to that.
I agree with you.
Just watch The Undertaker in wrestling, right? He's one of the most, like, he doesn't say anything, but that presence, right? So in that regard, it would have to turn into like a walk to the stage,
right?
Light, and so on and so forth.
So be more angsty then. Like, choose. You got to pick a side. You can't be halfway.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's talk about his and James and his relationship a little bit further. Just because we've been kind of hitting various touch points, but we haven't dived deeper into it.
Mm-hmm. I did like James though. Wes Bentley, he's a great actor himself, but I did like the character of James. What he brought, someone who's experienced, does have money, slightly jaded with the industry, but he's still doing it, and he knows how the career works, how the field works, and I liked how he brought that scientific producing method too. It's like, no, this is what is good. That's what makes you stand out as an artist individually compared to everyone else you're trying to be.
I loved him a lot because he was actually a great mentor. That's what frustrated. If he was just like this jaded guy and been like, no one can produce any new music, it's all over, but this was a natural progression of him. Like, he might not necessarily have the talent, but the fact that he can bring up young talent, I think there's something to be said about that, and he's not, just giving up in that way.
I think he probably still has the talent. I think it just maybe needs to be reinvigorated, just the way he was doing it for Cole, as we spoke about. He has to challenge himself in the same exact way.
I agree.
His character never really gave us really a reason to dislike him. Granted, he had, struggles, and he drinks a lot. Yeah. But also, you can see him as a person who's, been through the industry. You think he would be jaded and doesn't want to help a young up-and-comer who could essentially take his spot and use him in that way. But he also, what I liked about his character, he helped Cole grow as a person, as an artist. He helped giving him a new laptop and producing music, letting Cole use his own studio. I was like, that's what a good mentor in the industry should do, rather than someone be like, no, I see you as an up-and-coming threat. Yep.
And what did you guys think? Because to me, the turn of the apology, I thought that was too easy.
Too easy. But maybe if that's how they do it.
If I was the mentor...
That's what I thought. I was like, oh, maybe I just don't get it because I'm a girl. I just figured, because I feel like guys do forgive each other for that kind of stuff, whereas girls will have World War III going on for a long time.
Grudges forever.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It was less about the girl, right? No offense to Sophie. But, okay, if I've done all those things that Marisa just pointed out, and you said that I'm a failure... Right. Then F you, mother effer. Right. Like, you ungrateful...
POS.
COCK, sucker.
Yeah, no, but that's exactly it. It made me like James more as a character and as a person rather than Cole. And Cole's the protagonist that we should be rooting for. But like, Cole, you're the one who told the audience that he's a shoo-in and a sellout. And it's all from Cole's perspective that makes the audience think that James is a bad guy, when really he isn't.
Yeah.
And that was my, so, you know what? And even then, James is way better. And Cole should have been up and down thanking him, but his apology was one of the lamest apologies I've ever seen.
He didn't really apologize. He did, but it was just so half-hearted. I would have just kept going if I was in his position.
And I felt like it was a little too cheap because he used his friend's death. in a way. He's like, squirrel died. And then it already automatically makes James be like, oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm going through all this crap in my life.
If I was James in that moment, I would have been like, you know what? I'm truly sorry for your friend, but you know what? I told you there's certain irreparable choices, and this is what you guys did.
I felt like he brought that up because he finally understood what James was saying to him. So he's like, I get it now, and I'm sorry because I really screwed up. And look at what partly my actions have led to this death, and now I have to live with this for the rest of my life. So I get it. I thought that's why he brought it up. In a way to say you were right.
Indeed. Now he's still got 4 more years to be a human being.
Yeah.
I didn't believe he was 23.
No, me neither. 25, maybe.
25, totally. I could have believed that. You don't care.
Yeah, it didn't really affect me.
I mean, it wasn't like sitting there like, oh, yeah, right, the whole movie. I wasn't pouting in my seat, which was very comfortable, by the way. That was such a nice theater.
It was.
But
I'm glad you enjoyed the experience.
It really was nice.
Why we went to that one.
I had just been in Roseville, Michigan at the Star Gratiot Theater, and this just blew that one out of the water. So
AMC does it.
Kudos AMC.
They bring their A game.
But yeah, it didn't bother me so that I was just like buying out the whole film. But if I really think about it, no, he's not 23.
But I don't think age really was a factor telling the story. Granted, you could be...
They made it a factor, though.
And the thing...
Yeah, you got to be 27 to be a person.
Yeah, seriously. But the thing is, with this industry, especially out here in LA, I mean, we all know, but for the people who are listening and don't know LA, it's very career-driven, no matter what age you are. So there are people out here in their 50s still struggling, trying to figure out who they are in life. And compared to someone who's in their 20s who's just starting out life, it's like, yeah, I get it. You're at that young age, you can struggle.
Yeah, but here's the nice part. Like, every 23-year-old and even younger feels like by the age of 19, they should be David Guetta. It's like, no, you don't get that.
And that's
Calvin
also
Harris,
the problem with this up-and-coming generation. Everyone's so entitled.
And that's the thing, like, you know, no offense to... He thought he had it all figured out. Like, in order for... You have to really know music. And okay, so you have a good foundation where your mom taught you piano. But up until then, you've never created anything.
He's so lucky, though, to have a mentor like that and to basically be someone's apprentice. Here's the frustrating thing about living in Los Angeles that you both know, because you're artists and you're out here. You can do everything right. You can go from A to B to C, and somehow you still don't get the result that you should have gotten because this place makes no sense. So the fact that he had that connection, that was everything. The connection is everything. And to squander that is just so ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, so I want to transition to the friends part of We Are Your Friends.
Let's do it.
No, because, you know, I would have imagined... It would have been slightly cliched, but it would have worked, ironically. Like, there should have been a splitting up of the friendship based on his relationship with James, right? Oh, you're spending too much time there. You don't care. Like, we're supposed to rise up as a group, and all you do is care about yourself. And we got slightly into that, but not enough to have it be meaningful. And I thought that was definitely not utilized.
All right, and I think the message of We Are Your Friends, his character Cole is trying to figure out obviously what he's trying to do in life and figure it out, but it's like the people he wants to surround him. It's his friends that some of them had that mentality of like, this is all we're good for. This is the only thing that we have going for us. There's nothing else out there. And then compared to James, who is like, yeah, this is what the world is like, but it was Cole's choice to surround himself with who does he define as friends? People who will rise up with him and help him grow as a person and in his career, or a person who's going to stop him and have that negative mentality is like, no, this is it.
I think the irony is We Are Your friends. I think it's the fact of like, none of these people are your friends. They're just service people to you. Because up until a certain point, the friends served their purpose for him, and you know what? When it became that he didn't need them necessarily, they stopped their service, right? And James was the service. And to a degree, Emily was a service. So I don't think I think that's what he learned at the end.
The really negative
Phil.
aspect with that.
No, I
Get it. No, I get it.
Because at no point in time did I really think that he had a connection with any of these people, even his best friend.
See, the thing is, I didn't root for any of his friends.
Well, because he didn't root for them.
Yeah.
Like I said, the irony is they are not actually friends.
I think that's true. We didn't see the connections enough. We saw them all as individual characters, but we didn't see how they related to each other.
And what relevance really that they had in his life.
Yeah, I think this is just a group of people that basically said, hey, you're not going to do better than me. I'm not going to do better than you. Collectively, we're better, and let's try to make it. Right? You serve this purpose. You're the door guy, the DJ guy. You're this guy. You got the car. Boom, done. And as soon as that didn't fit with Cole's plans, or there was a better plan, that was it. You know, and the whole working the Wolf of Wall Street storyline, as I joke, but with John Bernenthal. Again, it was like, okay, well, this makes sense because we could make a crap ton of money. And it was good in the sense that they finally started, or at least Cole started learning, like, you know what? Yeah, we're making money, but this is literally hurting people.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not your friends in that way.
No. So, again, it provided a great service, but yeah, good.
That was an
And I think
interesting
that was maybe one of the things that I actually did like about Cole at the end, where we saw he gave the money back. I was like, all right. There is some good in here.
He's a person.
Here's the crappy part about that.
What?
What's the most he could have given her?
15.
Like 20 grand? Like, that's great, but you know she's going to lose her house. So 20 grand's not going to buy a new house.
Good
no
luck.
offense.
Well, because she made 20 grand from the agreement she signed.
Okay,
and
so
then,
she's now got a total
so now
40.
she's got 40. So you can't find anything in this area for that much money.
Yeah, she's going to have to rent.
I mean, I get that realistically. That still sucks on her end. But it's also rounding out Cole's character in a way that, like, he realized that she's struggling. He saw that. He was a part of it. And in a way, amending what
He's trying to make good. I agree.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I get that, but here's where I'm going to be a stickler. No offense, right? Because
I'm offended.
This is, you know, and this is what I think it's highlighting, is that the generation of Cole, which is my generation, unfortunately, but nonetheless, I'm going to go in on this. The way I've seen people's mentalities work is, let's say you bought a car for 40 grand, and after a couple of years, you as the owner of this car would show up to the dealership or whoever and just be like, you know what, I paid 30. You know what? That's it. I'm just going to pay 30 because I don't have more than that. I don't have the other 10 grand to pay for the car, but I paid 30, so we're good, right? Like, no, you still owe me 10 grand for the car because you bought it at 40 grand. So no, you don't just get to call it quits at 30 and say like, oh, you know what, we're good. Like, we're good. No! But that's that sort of mentality, and that's why I don't. But like, as nice a gesture as it is, you still screwed the woman over. You talk about right. The whole point, as James says, you have these moments and you can't reverse them. Yeah, you can't reverse that. So she has at most, let's say, 50 grand. So she's not gonna be. Condo is at least 100 grand. Congratulations, you screwed this woman over.
Yeah, he did. And you can't take that back. You're right. But does this soften the blow a little bit? Yes. And does this make us like him
Not
more?
if you're the woman. Not if you're the woman.
If you're the woman, yes, it does. $25,000 showing up at your door. It's not something that she was going to get otherwise.
Great. Still doesn't get her a house.
I know what you're saying. It doesn't take away what he did. What he did is still terrible and disgusting. But at the same time, I think it's better than not doing it.
Right.
I agree.
And still being part of the person who screwed her over.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I get that. I mean, our generations right now, the young generation that's up and coming, our current one right now, it's not.
I like how you put your hand on your hip.
Like, I am part of this generation, but I feel it's that entitlement whereas a lot of young people don't know really what hard work means and how the morality of how you treat other people and the work that goes into that. So
Even
I only
something-
saw it as
I think this is a cautionary tale.
Yes.
Yeah.
I only
That's what
saw
this movie
this
is.
gesture
Go see it because you
as
have to.
giving the money back, because we see throughout the whole film he's gaining all this money. He's putting it in his shoebox where he should have put it in a bank where it would have
We were both
accumulated
freaking out about
throughout
that.
all the years. I mean, that's what appreciation is.
What is this, the Great Depression?
Yeah, but you
No,
don't know
seriously.
that? Come on.
But we're led throughout the whole movie that this money is for him, and the fact that he was selfless and gave the money to someone else, I was like, all right, as a character choice, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it gives us hope for his humanity.
Yes.
Well, he'll be all right because Uncle James will buy everything that he needs, so you don't need
We
no
don't
money
know
right now.
that.
Well, that's the way we were going. Okay. His biggest relationship was with his roommate, the bald friend.
What was his name again?
I didn't care for this friend whatsoever.
Neither
I don't
did
even know his
Thought
name.
he was a mess.
I didn't think his character was good enough to remember his name. And it was frustrating to see that friend who was constantly angry when he had no reason to be angry with. And like, why would we ever root for you as a character?
I have one moment I did enjoy.
But he was
from
the
him.
catalyst. I will give him credit because he was the catalyst to try to get them out. He was the one who got the house and
That's
said,
fair.
you know what, we have to. Now, granted, he's also the one that probably said, hey, let's have this party.
Right.
Right.
One moment I thought was really strong from that character / actor was the moment when Cole came back and he was doing work on his parents' house. There was something in his eyes that just spoke such deep pain. And that was the character that I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be all right. He's in trouble.
And that's what I thought it was the reason why I actually did like him was because he always let Cole be Cole. Mm-hmm. Like he was the one, because the father was like, okay, hey, you got up too, you're helping him, like if you're gonna live here you gotta help. And he never really took Cole to task in that way of like, hey, he DJs, he's got to do what he does. And so the fact that he was able to do that for Cole, I thought was that's endearing.
Yeah, he definitely supported Cole in his endeavors. I'll give you that. But he also got into all those fights. It's like, dude, just chill.
Yeah, but
It's sushi.
God, their love is sushi.
I mean, there is some great sushi
How
in the
many times
valley.
did they mention sushi in this film?
They made me want to go get some, so I guess it worked.
I mean, it's like sushi's great, but it's not. Well, me personally, that's not my go-to. If the world was ending, that is not my go-to meal. It's like I gotta go to the valley and get some sushi.
I think for a lot of people it is. I don't think that part was inaccurate. For a lot of people it is
A lot of people love
big
sushi
thing.
out here.
Yeah,
They do.
Yeah, especially out here, it's almost a status symbol.
Well, because it's the best sushi in the world.
Yeah. Which is funny. And people do make fun of the valley for everything, but we talked about this. As we all live in the valley, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, maybe.
I love the valley. I think it's awesome. I mean, I wouldn't fight in a pool over it, but I was a little offended at how much they made fun of it.
Yeah, and you and I were talking afterwards. I didn't like the fact you could have mentioned once, maybe twice, all right, we're in the valley, we want to get out. But throughout the whole film, they kept making apparent digs at the valley. It was like people call this home. People love the valley here. And it's like, I get it, you don't like it, but you don't have to keep hitting the nail on the head that you hate.
Yeah, but here's the
this
thing. I mean,
place.
that's a very real struggle. I get it.
It is real.
Why,
but
though?
they
Like,
didn't-
what's wrong with the
I didn't
valley?
understand so much
just a
disdain
status
for the
symbol.
valley.
People are stupid because this place, it's just like, it's relaxing. It's
I want
calm.
people to continue that mentality. Get the hell out of the valley. Go. Leave me alone.
I don't know. I don't want to go live somewhere that's less convenient when I can get into the place that's less convenient and then leave and come back to the convenient place.
No, the beautiful part, that area that you both are, let's say, sitting in, in the valley, that square footage is probably like $1. You go to Beverly Hills, $10. So good luck. Good luck on your
But
square
at least we
footage
had the
bill.
sushi. so.
Right. There's a really great sushi spot in North Hollywood on Riverside if you guys want to go sometime.
With
Delicious. Izaka Sushi Ran. I love that place.
I did like the one line about sushi, though, they're like, and it's probably located in a strip mall, which is very true,
It's 100% true.
especially here in the Valley.
The one I go to is at a strip mall.
There you go.
Lovely little
Like, I
Salvation
did love
Army
the
next to it.
accuracies of what they talked about in the Valley.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I honestly feel
You
bad.
can't have a real movie without being real about the Valley. That would have been terrible.
Right. But something that I don't think is fair to the rest of the country that I only have understood since I've moved here is there are so many inside jokes and like nudges to people who live in LA and Hollywood.
That's why you have us to explain them.
Right, it's true. But they make so many assumptions. Not this movie in particular, but just movies in general. I want to put that out there. It's something I've really come to terms with. I'm like, oh, even songs like Free Fallin', it's all about the Valley. I never understood it. Even though he blatantly says it in the song, so my bad.
Tom Petty?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
I
Good
didn't
to
know
know.
that.
Good
I just thought that was a good
to know.
song.
All the vampires living in the valley. Then he says Ventura Boulevard. That's when it really clicked
Speaking
in.
of which, during an interview, Zac Efron, because, this is all about DJing, this movie, it's like, what would Zac Efron's character DJ name be? And they said it would be Base Ventura, after the street. Ventura Boulevard, here in the Valley.
That's hilarious.
I mean, he's not a porn artist. He's just a wide
Base Ventura.
Look at that face.
Interesting.
Named after the Ventura.
Speaking of which, in order for them to really become friends, they did rent a house one weekend in the Valley, and apparently just had fun. Emily was not included on this fun.
Oh, you're talking about the actors.
Yeah, the
got
actors. They spent a weekend together.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Bonding time.
Zach and Emily spent a lot of time together
Did they date?
in the movie.
Well, yeah, obviously. I wanna know the scandal.
However, Emily did not hang out with the rest of the boys.
Por qué?
'Cause she wasn't one of the boys.
A lot of her scenes were mostly with Cole, not with the guys.
Pretty much every scene. You're right.
Yeah, she don't know the other people.
Yeah, they were with Cole and James most of.
So.
It's true.
And I don't know what this says
I
about
was
them.
picturing those three hanging out. That's what that noise was
I think
about.
really the only scene that all of them were together was maybe the pool scene.
all of the characters.
Maybe the club
yeah.
scene too,
Yep.
at the beginning when they first were introduced.
This is true. Now, Zach says all the actors were pretty much method actors. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Method actor means you become your character.
I understand what it means.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it means to say of them if your main character is like, one of your things is like being a drug dealer. One of your other things is like...
Yeah, from my experience, method actors are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I dealt with one in
Depends on
college.
how method you are, though.
This kid was cray cray, and that's all I have to say about that. I think method actors should not be method actors.
Wow.
That's why it's called acting, folks.
Right.
Learn some technique.
Well, Heath Ledger went method and...
He's dead.
Did not work out well.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's not a good thing. Go to therapy.
Yes, indeed. Any other fun stories from set that you know of, Marissa, in your research?
Other than the fact that Zac Efron actually prefers trap music, but Wes Bentley is actually a big EDM fan.
Oh, that's
He's liked
cool.
it since the 90s.
Interesting.
Well, he was ahead of the game.
Well,
Yeah.
Emily's favorite music is Fetty Wap and Richie Home Kwan, Aretha Franklin, and Joni Mitchell.
Oh, I like the last two.
Yes, I agree with Joni Mitchell.
Okay, so let's talk about Max Joseph, the director and also writer.
I have, and this might sound terrible, in my notes, parentheses, don't know him. And I don't know his
Well,
work.
Catfish, the TV show. Ever heard of it?
I've heard of Catfish, but I didn't
This
know
is
he
his-
was part of that.
This is his film debut.
Yes, and that I've realized.
Catfish, the TV show.
He might need another film to help erase this as a debut.
Well, he wrote it, so that doesn't help. Like, directing-wise, it looked okay.
It
This wasn't
looks
a
good.
movie.
He just needs help with the pacing.
Yeah.
I think it was more so what lacked in this film was the character development and story. It's a fairly simple story, and I say that a lot, but this was something that wasn't over the top. Oh my god, mind-boggling, you really have to figure it out. It's a very simple story. And I think it's to the point, I get they tried to be relatable. A lot of people can understand that. But it was to the point where it's too real that no one probably, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people can relate but don't like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was tough. Now, speaking of Catfish, the TV show, he had to take off the first 5 episodes of the 4th season in order to make this movie. So
I'm sure he was missed.
Hey, a lot of people are actually upset at the fact that he did this movie instead of Catfish.
Really? Now,
well, Catfish
explain to me what's going on, because Catfish is a reality show.
And it started off as a movie, now it's a reality show.
I saw the movie.
And catfishing is a term.
Right. Mm-hmm. So as far as a director, how do you think that works with the reality show?
Well, I don't think he's not the director of the reality show.
Oh, I see.
Executive producer, correct?
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted AfterBuzz TV's Catfish host to kind of appear on the panel and tell us about his involvement. I don't watch Catfish. I've never actually seen the movie. I just know what it is.
I've watched a couple episodes and I've seen the movie. The movie was awesome. I would highly recommend it. The show, sometimes I'm like, all right, is this real? Come on.
It's reality.
Yeah. Definitely,
unquote,
there are
reality.
times when I feel like it's been set up. But it's still interesting. My roommate loves it. He fills up our DVR with it every week. So it's obviously a hit with the youth.
There you go.
I almost worked on Catfish.
That would have been funny if
Yeah, I know.
that would have been funny if they were watching Catfish in one of the rooms or something. Catfish is on.
Oh, that would be funny. Yeah.
That would have been,
Cross promotion.
You missed the opportunity. And what did you guys think of the rotoscoping with the PCP hallucination? That was a big kind of post-production end of it. I thought it was fun. It was very Richard Linklater style.
I thought it was fun. It reminded me of Doug.
Okay.
Which is
On
way
Nickelodeon.
better content than this movie was.
Oh, shoot. Marissa's throwing some serious shade.
I'm very against drugs and their usage. Mm-hmm. Especially just using it for willy-nilly.
Yeah.
It added nothing to the story. It added nothing to his character.
Well, it didn't, but it's just real.
Visually, it was artistic, sure. But I get he's doing PCP. He didn't know he was doing it. Fine, I'll give him that. But it added nothing to the movie. Well, and there was really no reference.
Here's the argument for it, right? This was the first time he was out officially on his own. And he was discovering what was possible.
I thought that it was really cool to watch.
Because he was taking in the world organically. He was seeing what the world had to offer. And now, granted, yes, with the help of drugs, but regardless, it was like, wow, the world can be pretty cool.
Yeah, okay, I can understand that mentality, but not once did he say afterwards when he woke up that was like, whoa, that was amazing things, my eyes are open to the world. I didn't get that message. Like,
okay, that would have been a little...
added something.
Let me get some nails
life.
for you and a hammer so we can hit it on the head.
But again, it went from a drug scene to him having a massive hangover, but that did nothing...
Because that's truthful.
That did nothing to add to his character growth.
Well, no, I mean, it's just the nature of it. Like, yes, there are artists who are known to go after that high because it's like, okay, wow, that's the only way I can expand my mind. But there is a reality to it. Like, yes, you're hungover.
I thought it was a cool scene. I got the symbolism of it. I thought it was very visually stunning, but I have to agree with Marissa, not just in this scene, but throughout the whole movie. And I get the death was supposed to negate all this, but I really thought there was a glorification of drugs and not enough of the show of consequences, of deep consequences from them.
And
well, James lost his girlfriend, Sophie, to it.
If he was an artist and he was taking this PCP to help his career and make him more artistic, not once did we see him
go create
actually do something after.
All he did was like
I'm going to take this
people.
ecstasy or PCP and create an awesome track. No, that didn't happen.
Okay, he the Vegas scene, they took drugs
and then they had sex. That's not creative.
No, that's just humanistic.
But some might say that's the most beautiful artwork you can create.
Fine, then do that and then write a song.
Well,
but
all
don't
right.
just do
I
that.
would have
Okay,
called
you-
it art if she ended up pregnant, but she should have.
Okay, let's.
Get her
That's what we
pregnant!
created in the world.
Okay, at the
That
end
is
of
what
it,
we
he
created.
created his one track. He took all of his experiences that he didn't know how to verbalize, that he didn't know any other way to express besides this music, and he just wasn't ready. LSD is
LSD.
creative. PCP is not, according to James in the booth. Thank
There
you,
you go.
James.
Okay.
So, what was the reason for the PCP? Again, it added nothing.
What is PCP? Let's get to that because I'm afraid of
It's
drugs.
angel
I told
dust.
you guys. What does that mean?
It's like it's basically like a horse tranquilizer that they turn into like a liquid form or a powder form, and you could either like dip something in it and smoke it, or snort it or smoke it.
Oh,
You can turn anything into a drug.
you heard it here first, folks.
You can.
That's right. This portion of the show
But again,
brought to you by
I just-
Marissa and Dare.
I can't say it enough. It added nothing to the film. It added nothing to the character.
Oh,
It was-
man.
I think the only reason why they used it was a transitional piece in the movie. He went from the night to the next day hungover.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough. My cautionary tale, Marissa is very much against drugs. I have a strong hatred for people who will say that they are against something always and forever, because I used to have a friend, and I've seen many examples of this, but I used to have a best friend who was like, I'm never going to smoke weed. Cut to a year later, he was the biggest pothead I knew.
No, I'm not against it always and
I've
forever.
never smoked weed, and nor will I ever.
I don't mind.
Don't
like,
say never.
yeah, I won't say.
Don't be absolute.
I won't say never, but
It
I will
doesn't
say I'm
have to
afraid
be.
of hard drugs. How about that? Like I am terrified because I just know the kind of person I am, and I know how goofy I am in real life, and I know how far I can go just in my normal consciousness. So to alter it is petrifying, and also, as I was telling you earlier, the war on drugs really worked on me.
Fair enough. I'm just saying, if you guys...
But I'm not saying never.
We've diverted quite a bit, but I will just finalize this. Like, if you have any notion of like the power of absolute, just go read any David Foster novel, David Foster Wallace nonfiction, or go see The End of the Tour, because his whole paranoia was about absolutes, and if you define absolutes, then it's just not good. Anyway, drugs aside, great.
Let's push the drugs aside, folks.
And that's all I have to say about that.
All right. Besides that, I have the soundtrack, if you guys want to talk about that. I have a full breakdown of beats per minute of various other music. And then, of course, we can talk about the actual reception and so on and so forth. But before we get into all of that, anything story-wise, production-wise, you guys want to touch upon?
What I will give this film was the editing, the sound, and sometimes visual editing. The sound editing was, especially with Cole's track and how they use genuine organic sound effects and how they mixed it together, I thought that was great. It reminded me of another favorite film of mine, not that this was my favorite, but one of my favorite films, August Rush. Amazing song, amazing film about music and sound, and there are a lot of perfect tracks that just perfectly mesh together.
This is a great music video, is what we're saying.
Yes, random sounds that you
Actually,
individually you would never think goes together, but but when you edit it, it works flawlessly. And I thought the whole Cole with the organic sounds, I liked the sound. I probably would have danced to it.
There you go. There's 18 songs in total. You can buy the soundtrack. The We Are Your Friends, that's the title song. Justice versus Samayan, that one's there. Cole's track is called Cole's Memories, original mix by Pyramid. So there's some good stuff on here. Far East Movement's on there.
And I believe they did use a very up and coming French DJ, Pyramid, who did a lot of work on this film, especially
Very
with
cool.
Cole's track in the end.
Nice job, Pyramid.
I love the organic sounds. I thought that was really cool. Billy Joel is one of my favorite songwriters and musicians of all time. And one thing that he said in a Howard Stern interview that I have found very poignant and telling in my own music making life is that you always have to hear the music wherever you go. So hear the sirens, hear the clicking of the air conditioner, and I thought it was so cool that he did that. And
If you want a movie that has that message, where this may have failed,
Watch August Rush. The
No,
whole
no,
movie
no,
is
no.
like there's music all around you.
watch Begin Again.
Who's
That's
in
a
that
good
again?
movie.
Is that
Keira Knightley, Mark
Okay,
Ruffalo.
I heard great things about that. I will.
Yes.
It's a great movie because it takes that whole premise. They're like they want to make an album, and it's like they don't have a studio. They're like, F it, we'll record on the streets of New York. How are you gonna do that? Well, we'll just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought that was great because I think my sometimes gripe with electronic music is that it doesn't make me feel. And that's my requirement for anything that I'm going to consume, whether it's a film or music or radio, whatever it is. And I think part of the reason for that is that it's not real, is the very thing that James is saying, is that it has to be based in some sort of truth. So you can bring in a couple electronic sounds, but put something in there that resonates with people on a organic level.
An honest clap.
Yeah.
That was the one organic piece.
There you go. All right, so we have drum and bass averages a BPM of 160 to 180. Old school jungle is 160 to 170. Dubstep is 140. House varies between 118 to 135. Techno is 120 to 160, generally around 120 to 135. Hardcore style is about 120. Trap is 140. Footwork is about 160. Hip hop is 80 to 115. Trip hop is 90 to 110.
What's that?
Find some trip hop, James. Concert marches are typically 120. Screamers are usually 130 to 150. Largo is 40 to 60. Larghetto is 60 to 66. Adigo is 66 to 76. And then we're getting into some weird stuff I've never even heard of.
Like more
These are
classical
more,
music.
yeah, I was going to say, these are more music, general music terms.
Moderato, andante, yeah.
Presto.
Presto.
We got trip hop, James.
Prestissimo.
We're working on trip hop.
Allegro. Yeah. Allegro. I totally know Allegro.
All right.
A lot of violins in Allegro.
While James is pulling that up, let's talk about some of the quite unfortunate news. The reception not so good. One of the trying to use a better word than funny things because it was made by Funny or Die. There's a video where they kind of cut the trailer, and instead of his track, they use Hokey Pokey.
Might have brought more people to the theaters.
So watch that little bit because it's actually quite funny when Emily's dancing to put your left foot in, put that foot out. I hit funny.
Picture.
I hit funny. So I thought it was funny.
I gotta watch this.
This is trip hop. Okay.
Oh, this sounds like drug music.
Totally trippy.
The war against drug continues. By the way, James, try to find that Funny or Die video if you can. Just type in Funny or Die. We are your friends, and if we can, we'll play at least till the first. You put your left foot in, you put your left foot out. Type one, so that way we don't get flagged for copyright issue.
I want to say something about this. There are lots of problems with the film, but I don't feel like it deserved this bad of a reception.
It's pretty bad.
No. I mean, I'm generally more positive during our anatomy shows.
Right.
So, I believe it.
I mean, it got a cinema score of C+.
That's pretty good.
No.
It's passing.
Honey, that's not good.
No. I think even...
it's like a 78%.
Like Agent 47 got a higher score in cinema score. And that was a terrible movie.
Yeah, this didn't do so good.
Does Cinema Score tend to be kind with their reviews?
This is the audience members.
Got it.
So you're polling, and here's the thing, right? So this typically tends to be on like a Thursday, Friday. So, and then, even Friday mornings. So if you're going to see a movie on a Friday morning, it means you probably really wanted to see it. Opening weekend, right?
Right.
So therefore, just by the nature of it, you're going to want to give it a good grade because you clearly went out of your way to see this damn movie.
Got it.
And when you give this movie based on people that really wanted to probably see it, and they say it's a C+,
that's not a good sign. Okay, I'm with you.
I mean, here's the thing. Jurassic World, in its 12th week, beat this movie. It's not good.
Not good at all. This movie opened up to 1.8 million.
The worst opening.
The third
like
worst opening.
They didn't advertise it well, though, either.
I saw a lot of trailers in movie theaters for it.
Yeah, I think
I
those are
didn't see any.
misadvertised. It just would go on Funny or Die, James, or look up just look up We Are Your Friends online and in Google News or something like that. Funny or Die, you'll find it.
Yeah, but a little bit more numbers while he's doing that for box office. This movie opened up to 2,333 theaters, and as of September 2nd, because that's the most updated, September 2nd, 2015, it only made $2,372,318. So you do the math. That's not a lot.
Oh my gosh.
It
68 per
it
screen.
might be $68 to $70 per screen.
Well, according a couple of musicians came out with some tweets, right? And it's so easy to just take a cheap shot at this. But Jeremy Rowley wrote, apparently Seinfeld's Kids Lemonade Stand, though shut down early, still made more money than the Zac Efron EDM movie.
Ouch.
That's a dig.
But that's the truth.
Deadmau5 tweeted, "Let's make an EDM movie." They said it'll be fun. They said, and then he also, a lot of articles are talking about how Deadmau5, they're happy that this movie restored their faith in music because of how bad it flopped.
Yeah.
So I don't quite know. They haven't really gone on to expand further in terms of what the full correlation is. But that's
Right. But
interesting.
The numbers from September 1st to September 2nd, they only had a difference of $157,306 in one day. That was basically their average. That's it.
Yeah, tracking suggested to open up to $8 million. Did not happen.
You know, they should have made this a much smaller release.
Yeah.
Nothing
yeah.
would have helped, but maybe that would have helped them financially.
Not open to 2,000 plus. No.
I think if anything, start like what was the movie with Chris Evans, the train one? What was it called?
Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer. Be Snowpiercer. Start small, go big.
I think that's the way to do it too. I mean, this, even if it was
Snowpiercer
incredible,
had bigger names in that film too.
right? Even
I mean, you have Zac frickin' Efron.
No, but I'm saying as a whole, they had a bigger roster of bigger names for that film. And it was more visually stylistic than this film ever was.
I agree. I'm just saying that the route in general of that movie was a very good route. All right, James, hit it, baby. What do we got? Hit that full screen. Let's see it. No, but you're ruining the punchline. Play back. Play back.
You really know how to work a crowd.
There we go. And now make it full screen and bring it up for the people if we can.
I'm just gonna skip ahead.
Sounds have soul. Build them from scratch. Find new ones. Get your head out of that laptop and start listening to what the real world's trying to tell you.
There we go.
Any successful artist, they have this moment where they stop being an admirer.
See, this is a good message.
I think I have something.
Here we go. There you go.
oh my gosh.
Here we go.
What's up? I'm Cole Carter.
It was a question when you said that.
I'm Cole Carter? Question mark? Hokey pokey.
Ah, man. So,
I'm Cole Carter.
James, I give you about a 3 out of 5 on that presentation of this.
But I think the presentation of the video, or just the video itself,
The
was
video itself
better
is
than
good.
this film.
The video itself is good, so check it out if you want to see the full thing. All right. Anything else that you guys want to talk about? Ironically, the Hollywood Reporter gave it a good review, actually.
Really? What did they say?
The Hollywood Reporter's John Frosch called it surprisingly winning, with its bro-y banter, gyrating bodies, and soundtrack of melodic hooks set to skittering beats. The movie will not be to everyone's taste. In fact, your response may be directly determined by your tolerance for the music, as well as your willingness to spend time with a bunch of likable but not very bright dudes smoking spliffs and trying to hustle up some cash.
Yep.
So, I guess people don't have a tolerance.
My tolerance wasn't for the film, or like for the music. It was more so low tolerance of the characters.
I didn't see the music as a problem at all.
The music was, like I said,
If anything,
it was
the
a music
was
video.
fairly all right.
Actually, when you said that, it sprung a light bulb in my brain, and you are absolutely correct. I mean, if this film had just been translated into about 12 music videos, it would have been
pretty good.
genius.
All right, James, hit some EDM music as we wrap out. I want to come out strong. I want to come out dancing. I want to come out blaring. Let me hear that bass, that treble, all that. Okay, I thought you were gonna play Hokey Pokey again. I was like,
That would have been so funny.
The final scene, just one more final scene while that's also going. They actually threw a live block party for the whole Cole scene. And they invited a lot of big DJs like LA Riots, Dirty South, and Nicky Romero all came to the party.
That's good.
I don't think they knew what the movie was about at that point in
It
time.
was more for promotion because while they were filming it, they couldn't get the location set and it was just production standpoint. They had to throw their own party.
I really thought for a while that we wouldn't get Summerfest due to budgets. And then that's why I was like, it's okay. I wasn't ready for Summerfest anyway. Oh, okay, we're not going to shoot anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, during the party, Zach actually performed on the decks in between.
He performed?
In between breaks and whatnot, Zach
he
himself
DJ'd?
would get on the DJ decks and
Interesting.
actually
I wonder if
DJ
he's
a
going
little
to
bit.
try to do this in his regular life.
No, he's
No.
not.
Passion, remember? It's a passion project.
Just one.
He answered that question on a UK interview, and then Cosmo UK asked him to sing one of his High School Musical songs, and he was kind of wrong. So.
Well, I had heard, I told
He
you
didn't know the intro.
but that they highly auto-tuned him, obviously, but also that they mixed his voice with someone else's for High School Musical. At least one of them.
For
Yeah.
the first film. And then he, backed it up with reasons. He's like, there was 3 films full of songs. I'm like, no, you need that song.
All right, so we're breaking free of We Are Your Friends, but you don't have to break away from Marisa Serafini. Where can the people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at SeraphiniTV.
Ooh, I will do that. I think I already am, but
Yeah.
I'll just go check out, see what the latest tweets are. I'm Lauren LoGrasso, and you can find me at LoLoLogro on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all those things. And I will be doing a music show, if you guys like music, at the Viper Room on Wednesday, September 9th at 9 p.m. It's my 999 show, so I'd love to see you there.
And follow us here at Movie Anatomy, at the Popcorn Talk. Thank you guys for joining us. Let us know your thoughts on this movie if you've seen it. Did you have interest to see it? And then after the reviews came out, did you just say, it's not worth it? Let us know. Obviously, the reception hasn't been great, but if you did genuinely actually like this movie, let us know. I mean, there's, like as we mentioned, hopefully you walked away with a good discussion. There's elements that are good, but overall, on the whole, it just doesn't fit together well. And be sure to check out other shows here on the Popcorn Talk Network: Box Office Breakdown, Jedi Alliance, Bolly What, Cosplay Coach. You've got Marvel Movie News, Meet the Movie Press, Profiles with Malone and Mance, and movies. As the intro says, we talk movies, and we do. And of course, Anatomy of Movie will have many dissections for you. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the rest of the Anatomy of a Movie staff, we would like to thank you for listening and subscribing to the show. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email or tweet us. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been Anatomy of a Movie. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.